Hello everyone, watch this review here where they look at Clayface from the Batman Clayface 2-pack, the Fists of Clay. Now this is basically just a straight reissue of the DC Superheroes Clayface, which I wasn't able to pick up during its initial run because I wasn't collecting at that point, and you know, in pack that version goes for a lot more than this version, ironically. I'm not even sure why, but I picked this pack up for 20 shipped some time ago. And I've seen it like clearanced at places and stuff like that, whereas the other version goes for a bit more than that, so, you know, a little bit crazy, but there's a bio on Clayface here. Now, there are several different Clayfaces. I believe this is the first one. I mean, each of the Clayfaces is also, you know, slightly different. Like, one of their touches would turn things to clay, and, you know, just craziness like that, but, yeah, you get this guy open. Davy, look at him. Now, one of the cool things about this 2-pack, or maybe true of all 2-packs, but it's the fact that the cardboard insert on the inside is removable. It actually has, I believe this is the same background for the Wave 1, so whereas the original Wave 1 insert you couldn't really get out without completely messing up the package, you now have a copy of the actual look of it for a display piece, if you would, or will. You know, kind of neat. I mean, not a huge thing. But, of course, it's also a little bit unsuitable, considering the fact that this character is not even represented on it, but that's neither here nor there. But as mentioned, this is basically a reissue of the DC Superheroes version. Now, the important thing here is that it has these silly rubbery arms, which I don't know why they opted for this, because for essentially all it can do, if you just did it from the wrist, you'd get the same effect, where you'd be able to put his hand on somebody and then, you know, you'd kind of have the rubber all around them. But as opposed to that, they did the entire arm. It feels like there's some sort of a long cord running through it, and the rest is just a soft rubber, which is really malleable and stuff. And actually, you know, you can bend out, but if you do bend it out, eventually the material is going to probably start to tear. Again, another reason why I don't particularly care for this. And plus, you lose out on all this articulation for it. It's just a hinge instead of a ball, so it won't go out. And no elbow joints, which is a major downer. I think that and the reason, and the fact that I don't particularly care for the character of Two-Face is why I held off picking him up in the first place, but I figured, you know what, I want to complete my Batman's Rogues gallery as much as I can, so of course it's still not going to get me to buy the Scarecrow, because I think the Scarecrow looks horrendous. Two-Face was Clayface was always kind of a interesting character as well. I think his only real weaknesses, or at least from the cartoon, were like other liquids, like if he got hit with water it would disperse him, or if he got hit with something like bleach it could probably kill him. I know it killed his counterpart in the Wanted series. Of course, his counterpart was made from the fecal matter of the 666 evilest men ever to live, so, you know, there's different reasons why that would work against him, but very decent design. Really not any paint apps at all. I mean, it looks like it's just one solid tone. Although there might be like subtle shadowing effects here that I'm not seeing as much, but you know, there's a heavy amount of sculpting for all these folds. You have this sort of cool effect where they opted to have like a piece just sort of sliding off him, which is a cool, gross little detail. You know, other than the fact that his arms have no real articulation. I mean, it's not that bad as far as articulation goes, just because we have a ball and socket at the knee, and the kind of usual ball jointed, well, actually a physical ball joint as opposed to the ball jointed motion at the leg. Of course, given the top heaviness of the character and the short, stout feet and legs, he probably can't really get too many good positions going without falling over. I mean, look at these tiny feet. So, I mean, it's not a... Well, yes. very well balanced figure, but you know, definitely a kind of cool looking character and a solid addition to the line. You also notice that like one of the toes looks like a kind of human toe. Sort of creepy effects. You can even see a nail on it. So I'm not sure if he's in mid-transformation or what. By the way, Clayface is 7.5 inches tall. For scale, let's bring in the most useless repaint ever. The Batman from the same 2-pack. With mud splatters on him. So, as you can see, the Clayface... Too many stupid face characters. Is just a slight bit taller than him. Now, to show you what I meant earlier about the plastic or rubber portion sort of enveloping something, let's just toss this here. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to really stick because the character's going to start to fall over, but hypothetically, it's kind of gross, but hypothetically, if the characters were both stabilized in place, whatever position the hand is holding would kind of stay that way, so you'd actually have like real finger articulation, kind of. But it's not really articulation, just has the effect of articulation, but it still is kind of cool. But yeah, somewhat like this one. I mean, it's probably not my favorite of the Batman figures, I mean, at least not by far. But you know, it's a pretty passable rendition of a character. So yeah, this has been the Clayface, the reissued DC Superheroes from the 2-pack. Until next time, folks. You know, I feel I wasn't really clear enough on the articulation, but the physical arms, the little straw thing in there, you can actually move them out and they will kind of hold the pose for a while. I mean, if you try to do like too extreme something, it'll automatically go back out, but it kind of does get like an additional range of motion, but for what you get, it's really not worth it. If they just gone with traditional joints, it would have worked a lot better. So, you know, he does actually have kind of like outward motion, but, you know, then again, you aren't ever going to use it.